Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guest today is Jerry Owen, who has a concert of his piano music coming up on the 2nd of February at Coe College. Jerry, welcome.
Thank you very much, Dennis.
Jerry, in addition to being a teacher and a performer in Iowa for many, many years, also are well known, as I said, as a composer of music. And you've reached that point in your career where people can do entire concerts just of your compositions. That's a milestone in and of itself.
I appreciate that very much, Dennis. Yeah, it's that stage of my career, as you put it. It's a 75th birthday year concert. Over the years, I've tried to present a concert of my own music at milestone birthdays, starting with the 40th and then 50th, of course, in that way, picking on years that have zeros in the number.
And the occasional five.
And the occasional five. Well, this one came up because in my 70th birthday, I'm going to drop a name here. Harvey Solberger, who's a wonderfully widely known composer and flutist, one of the biggest names out of the avant-garde in Manhattan during the 70s and 80s. In any case, Harvey is a friend of mine. He was playing on the concert of the 70th birthday, and I told him I was already working on my 80th birthday concert at that point. And he looked at me, he kind of said, Jerry, 80's a long way away. You just never maybe you should try a 75th birthday concert.
Don't wait.
Don't wait. And so, yeah, that's what happened.
It's like the high school classes who start having reunions every 3 years instead of every 5.
Ours is now meeting every year, just in case, right? No, so it's a wonderful concert. My biggest joy, I think, on this, of course, these are all piano works that I've done over the years, and it's a great joy for me to have them all presented at one point on one stage. But the artists on this program are the amazing feature. I think the pianists are just wonderful, first-class, world-class musicians.
You have certainly the roster of Iowa's leading pianists, and looking at this, I would put them up against anybody from any place.
Well, they are a joy to work with, and they are great artists, and I'm just so pleased and proud to have them playing my music on that date.
Well, mention who they are.
Sure. Starting off the program is a piano duo from Coe playing a two-piano piece. It'll be the only two-piano piece on the program. Marita Wolgast, who's been on the music staff for years and years, also at First Lutheran Church, is playing one of the piano parts. And the other is Julia Titus, who is a well-known music educator and performer, been with the orchestra and so forth for many, many years. Next on the program is a gentleman that we're all going to become more acquainted with now that he is coming back for this program, Loeb, Benjamin Loeb, who formerly was the executive director of the Quad City Symphony, now living in Arizona, a Juilliard grad pianist and a wonderful artist. Looking forward to that, to meeting Ben. I actually haven't met him yet. Also on the program, Dr. Rène Lecuona, who shares the leadership of the piano program at the University of Iowa. Wonderful artist, and most recently performed here at Bruce Moore with the Orchestra Iowa a year or so ago. Also on the program is Miko Kominami, who is the concert pianist with the Orchestra Iowa, also a professor at Luther College, has toured many times and performed a number of my works over the years, and a dear friend. Also on the program, Dr. Abbie Brewer, who is a faculty member at Coe, and a wonderful musician and a mother of 4 children, and just brings a lot of life experience to the program. So I'm really excited about this group of musicians.
Do you now? Of course, this is a concert of music of piano, and I'm guessing that piano was probably your very first instrument.
It was. That's where I started.
And do you remember the first thing you composed?
I do. I don't think I could sing it to you just now, but I think it was something heavy and dark. I was probably 12 or 13 at the point. At that
full
point.
Of angst, full of Sturm und Drang.
No doubt. That's precisely the case. Yeah, I've mellowed a little bit since then, although not a whole lot. They'd say that in the early days, Mozart and his music was lovable, likable, just like vanilla ice cream is likable and lovable. And everybody likes vanilla. Everybody likes Mozart. As music has progressed through the years, the level of interest, the harmonic interest and so forth in music has sort of matured to where the flavors of ice cream that you might compare it to have changed. So that maybe a Chopin is a chocolate ripple, for example.
Mm-hmm.
You get the idea? Maybe Bartok is something like a black cherry walnut sherbet or something like that, with more complex flavor and so forth. That's the way I view my music, is that it's along those same kinds of lines. It's more interesting harmonically, I think, than music of the ancient past. Certainly, the influence of the music itself is strongly from jazz pianists over the years. And in my view, the jazz pianists have taken harmonies that are used in contemporary composition farther than anyone else. The early adventures in the 30s and 40s of the jazz pianists really set the scale for interest in harmonies and progression in harmonies.
Mention a few, since you're in a place where we know those names. Mention a few in no particular order of jazz pianists that either you listen to a lot or that you think really forwarded the genre.
I don't think you could make that list without Art Tatum being on at the top of the list. Then Oscar Peterson has been a great interest of mine. I mean, what a great virtuoso pianist! Just happened to play jazz. Wonderful technician. I suppose, though, as the years have gone by, I've grown fondest of Bill Evans over the years. Others come to mind.
Many others, but yeah,
Cedar Walton, and there are many others.
You see, it's hard to talk about jazz piano and not mention those four names.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly right. Yes.
As you put the program together for something like this, obviously you probably picking from different kind of subgenres of your work, different eras of your work. You want to have some contrast, but also perhaps a little bit of a through line. Talk to me about picking from all of the compositions then toward designing this one program.
Well, I think the first step was to consider which were the major works. So these are all major works. There is a suite, for example, of 8 movements, of which we're only going to hear 3 in this particular concert, but that's a 20-minute work. The sonatas, there are 2 sonatas on the program. Those are all both 20-minute works. So they're large pieces in the first place. Then notice I mentioned the word sonata, I mentioned the word suite. Those are connections to traditional forms. So there is that idea running through the program, too, that there is the context of classical music, but with more modern sounds, more modern interest, more modern expression comes through the music.
Talking with Jerry Owen about his concert of his piano music, which is coming up February 2nd at Coe College. Jerry, the event is free, I understand.
It's free, open to the public.
Yep, and it's a part of the piano festival at Coe.
It is indeed the Keyboard Festival, which happens annually in the first weekend of February. And there are 2 other programs, one on Friday evening at 7 and one on Saturday evening at 7. That would be the 31st of January and the 1st of February. And also, of course, we don't want to leave out the fact that Sunday is Super Bowl Sunday as well. But it will be the concert will be over before the Super Bowl.
Okay,
so.
There you go. Concert will be over before the before
the way
Super
to remember
Bowl.
it. The other way to remember it is it's 2/2/2020 at 2.
Oh,
Those
sure.
are the numbers involved, so it's got to be a good thing, right?
Well, Jerry guarantees you'll be done before kickoff.
Absolutely.
Jerry, thanks so much for being here today, and I hope that you enjoy just listening to all these great artists interpret your music.
Thanks, Dennis, and I really intend to enjoy this very much. Thank you.
Information at coe.edu if you'd like more details on this or any of the other events for the Keyboard Festival. Jerry, thanks again.
You bet, Dennis. Thank you.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio most weekdays at 10:20 on KCCK, or download the podcast, watch or listen on your own schedule using your favorite podcast app or at kcck.org/culture. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.